bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
Kid, let me tell you something.
I'm live.
I see together.
Go ahead.
They hang out on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, you have a voice no matter what. But getting somebody that lets like it. Yes.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Yeah, of course it is. But answer my question though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
This is The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. Now, I'm asking the mayor and the county council president and the county council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio in Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Is Tory Lowe deaf? He be listening to it loud up in here. He want the real deal. That's because they high energy. Rolling, rocking. So, first of all, thanks, Tory, for holding it down. And I had an interesting conversation with someone I consider a friend the other day. He said he listens to the show all the time. And he made a statement about what I was talking about at the time as it relates to success. And so he asked me a question about whether or not he asked me whether or not I thought he was successful. And I thought about it, but then rather than tell you the answer that I gave him, I started to think about the fact that, is there actually a definition for the Black community? Is there a definition for success in the Black community? I've often wondered that because we call people successful, but then many times when we look at their lives in comparison, I don't know if you can actually call some people successful. I'm just saying. I mean, I believe they're successful. I believe that people can be successful in their own way. But is there an actual definition of success in our community? And so the conversation I had with, it was a Black male, and he did question whether or not he was successful in his own life. He was wondering whether or not he was successful. And so he asked me, he said, do you consider me successful? But as I thought of it, instead of answering the question, it generated more questions for me. So, number one, is success the same for Black people and white people? Like, are the tenets of success, are the bullet points of success, are the things that make Black people successful the same for white people and vice versa? I've often wondered about that because we've had to conform so much. Or was it that our bar was so low? You know, sometimes I would do things and, you know, white people would be so mad at how great it was. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? This is like basic. Are you kidding me? Until I realized there was so much low expectation for Black people that basically, if you show up, you won. But then there was number two. What are the components that actually make up success for you? If you consider yourself successful, what are the components that make up success for you? And then what is the number one hindrance of personal success? And then finally, if you don't believe you're successful, like, why not? Why don't you believe you're successful? So having this conversation about success and someone believing that they weren't successful, a person that I clearly see success, saw him successful, I saw him work, he was successful in his work. I look at that person as being extremely successful. But then the questions, is success the same for Black and white people? What are the components that make up success for you? Not for everybody, because you can't do things and you don't have skills that other people have. But looking on the other side of the same coin, what is the number one hindrance of personal success? And if you don't believe you're successful, why not? But then it brought back a statement, a comment, an observation by Oliver Wendell Holmes. And it's one of the fears I have about dying incomplete, about not getting stuff done that you want to do, not emptying your bucket list. Oliver Wendell Holmes said, many people die with their music still in them. Why is it so? Too often it's because they're always getting ready to live. And before they know it, time runs out.
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 1017 The Truth. The new 1017 The Truth wants to thank you for making us a Silver Category Anthem Award winner.
Good afternoon, Dr. Ken. I am a daily listener, a frequent texter, and a first-time caller, so it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Outstanding.
In diversity, equity, and